In the center of historic Congress Park in downtown Saratoga Springs, the legendary Canfield Casino is a hotbed for reports of paranormal activity. The 146-year-old building has been the subject of multiple ghost hunts in recent years, culminating in a visit by the Atlantic Paranormal Society of Ghost Hunters fame. Now, we're taking our own look inside.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm here with Jamie Perillo of the Saratoga Springs History Museum. He also does ghost tours here at the Canfield Casino in Congress Park.
Hi, Nick. Well, our museum, the Saratoga Springs History Museum, has been in this building since 1912. We're one of the oldest museums in the state of New York, and we have about 15,000 items that are in the museum collection. And all the pieces here are from families that were associated with this city, items from this building, the Canfield Casino, a large photographic collection, and we have a lot of folklore and stories of ghosts in the Canfield Casino. The building was built in the year 1870 by John Morrissey. Morrissey was a prize fighter, a U.S. congressman. He was a thug for Tammany Hall, but he was also a very brilliant gambler. He came to Saratoga in the 1860s and he founded the Saratoga Racecourse, and then decided that since he already had a gambling background, he was going to open what he considered to be the most elaborate gambling casino worldwide. He bought this plot of land, which is in today Congress Park, and then opened this in 1870. He attracted the richest and wealthiest gamblers from across the world here, and he was very successful and made a great deal of money. Eventually the ownership transferred to a couple of his business partners, and then Richard Canfield took over the building in the year 1894. He ran it successfully until 1906, when there was enough anti-gambling pressure in the city to close him down. All right, well, there are a lot of stories associated with the Canfield Casino, and one that many of our visitors have said is that they've walked into this high-stakes gambling room, and this roulette wheel would be spinning just like this. All right, so this room represents the library and reading room in the Canfield Casino. This is where the women could go while gentlemen were in the club playing games. They could also go to the dining room, but it was not seen as proper for a woman to gamble in the 19th century. So you really didn't see them playing in the rooms. And one neat thing about our costume collection is we had a volunteer who was working for us not that long ago, and she was photographing items in the costume collection. She was in the costume room and set her digital camera down on a box. And then the camera was off. So after taking quite a few photos, she was, pulling out another piece to shoot. And then the camera all of a sudden came on, and then the photos that she had just went through started scrolling through on the screen on the back of the camera. I have no idea how that happened. But I mean, not the pictures weren't affected, but whatever was doing it was interested in the pictures that she was shooting. Well, one of the stories that we had that were associated with this room is a chime sound. One afternoon, my curator and a volunteer and I took everything out of the room, and we placed things in different rooms just for storage. And one thing that was moved was this candelabra that's here. So we placed it in the room across the hall. The three of us were in having a meeting discussing the next day's activities, and while we were sitting there, we just started to hear the sounds of chimes. And we have these all over the museum, but we distinctly could tell that's what it was. So I sent the curator around to keep chiming each one till we finally found out where it was. And we were absolutely positive that it was the set that we had just moved. The museum was closed, locked up solid, and we know since the three of us heard it, we were very confident that's what it was. When the ghost hunters did their investigations, from taps, they actually heard it 3 times that evening, even though on the television show they did only show once. And I've had 2 other volunteers in the meantime that have experienced it. So it's something that definitely has occurred here. After this room was the fire exhibit, we decided that we were going to do an exhibit on ghosts in Saratoga Springs. And then we were trying to train our docents how to do ghost tours. So I was with another gentleman training a couple ladies on what the tours are, and we were standing right about where we are here in this room. And the door that comes in was partially open, and the ladies were standing near that, and the doorknob actually started wiggling back and forth on its own. All four of us experienced it at the same time that evening. And again, just like everything else, not late at night, but it was after hours, the front door was locked, and we were absolutely the only people that were in the building. No idea why it was doing that.
After showing us the high-stakes gambling room and the library reading room, Jamie led us up the stairs to the third floor, reportedly the most haunted in the building.
Wait, Mr. Perillo, do you think you could tell us a little about the infamous third floor?
Sure. When the building was a gambling casino, we believed that the rooms upstairs were all bedrooms. So either club members could stay here for the evening, possibly the club owners could stay, or some of the staff also did have rooms up here. But regardless, it was an illegal casino and it was a no questions asked operation. So we don't know really what went on in these bedrooms. Some people say that they've seen the ghost of Rubina, the young girl who died after caring for the soldiers, walk in the halls of the museum. We've had folks that have seen her travel up the stairs up here to the third floor. Researchers said they've seen her ghost travel from this red bedroom across the hall to the orientation room right in front of us. So whether or not it's really her or folks are just seeing things that they want to see when they come into the buildings, we don't know. But when the ghost hunters from TAPS came to the building, this is one of the rooms, this red bedroom that they investigated. It's supposed to represent Ellen Hardin Walworth's bedroom. But while they were in here, they actually heard a man and a woman talking, which they got on camera. And one thing that they noticed, or that I asked them to investigate, was that in these walls, people very frequently in this area feel a very strong presence, or they feel very uncomfortable between these two rooms. But they detected some sort of an electromagnetic presence in the walls. So maybe there's some old wiring in there, or maybe there's a ghost hidden in the wall. Who knows? We don't know. All right, well, one of our most recent ghost stories that we've had in the building was 2 weeks ago, when one of our visitors came in, and they were taking pictures of a number of the exhibits in the museum, and they went into the Walworth family library, and there's a painting of Clarence Walworth when he was a child. So their camera was working fine. They took pictures all over the museum. When they took the picture of Clarence, every time they took it, the camera would shut down. So they would come back out, take another picture, and everything was fine. They go in to take a picture of that painting of Clarence, and the camera would shut off. So we have no idea what was forcing the camera to shut down then, unless whatever was in here liked electronic equipment. But probably one of the strangest things that's occurred here in the museum. We're learning more and more about the Canfield Casino and our collections at the History Museum every day. So, as time goes on, I'm sure the stories that are associated with the building and the ghost stories are just going to multiply. So we've been here in the building for over 100 years, and we hope that over the next 100 we have twice as many things to talk about when people come in to take a tour of the History Museum.
I would say thank you so much, Mr. Perillo. It's been great.
Does the spirit of John Morrissey haunt the high-stakes gambling room? Does the ghost of Rubina Walworth stalk the halls to the third floor? Do you want to bet against the 146 years of history that bleeds through the walls of the Canfield Casino? Until next time on Haunted Upstate.